I mean, I'd love to see when they were yelling and screaming at each other in the kitchen and everything, and then all of a sudden, this beautiful cake comes out and everybody walks away and they're all happy. I mean, that's a typical Italian family.
Yes.
Did the producers ever egg you on a little bit?
This is gonna hurt. It's time for the Suffering Podcast.
Buddy's task is equally as difficult as your vision.
Exactly.
Yeah. And one's not harder than the other. You think of the idea and, okay, build this.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's tough.
And then going in there to the decorators, okay, well, can you do this? And then sometimes they look at you. Can you? No, well, no, I can't do it. Can you?
I was going to say, did they ever look at you and say, like, really?
Yeah.
Like, you really want me to do that?
And then sometimes, well, what's easier? I would say, well, what's easier to do?
I think I'm pretty sure they made something like the Empire State Building on one of the shows. It was something crazy. And I'm looking at them like, it's too pretty to even eat. You know, did you ever run across that where you make something so beautiful you don't want anybody to touch it? Yeah. You're attached to your work, I guess.
Yeah.
You can't keep it forever. It's a cake.
Yeah, well, maybe. So you just success after success after success. And then we had this little thing happen in 2021, which hurt a lot of culinary businesses.
Yes.
So how did you get through that?
Well, it was actually, no one really wanted to work because everyone was scared, who had people that they were protecting at home. So basically, then I really was working. We all went to work and we were actually busy because everyone wanted to order stuff to be shipped. So we were busy shipping and we were working and we just pulled together as a family and we worked as a family.
So it's that core family value that always has been steadfast. Forget about the bakery for a minute. It's not the bakery that is successful. It's the family values that were instilled.
I remember I got a call and we said, all right, family, we all need to work because, who's not working and we have so many orders that need to get shipped out. So the family has to work. So my kids we used to say whoever needs to log on for school because they were remote, they go log on and then they would come back to work. We were working. And the kids would say, all right, I got to go log on. All right, go log on and then come back in. And then I'd be like, all right, my son has to go wrestle. All right, he could wrestle the racks. No, he has to go to wrestling because that's what's going to get him into college.
Do you understand?
He's got to go to practice.
You're living what your father envisioned.
Exactly.
How beautiful is that? And an unfortunate circumstance in lockdown has really brought your father's vision into fruition of what he had an idea for his family.
Exactly.
To always be together, to always hold true to what the core values are. And it's not the bakery, it's the family. That's what made Cake Boss successful. It's not the bakery, it's family.
Exactly.
And a lot of people watch it for the family interaction too.
Of course.
I mean, I'd love to see when they were yelling and screaming at each other in the kitchen and everything, and then all of a sudden, this beautiful cake comes out and everybody walks away and they're all happy. I mean, that's a typical Italian family.
Yes.
Did the producers ever egg you on a little bit?
A little bit,
Yeah.
a little bit. They would ask, they would say, well, what do you think about that? And then, they would just leave it up to us. Well, what do you think about that? Well, what do you mean? What do you think about that?
They'd come out and say, you had to hear what Buddy just said about you in the back room.
Something like that. Be like, what did he say? What did she say? Well, they would say more like your sister. What did my sister say?
So Carlo's Bakery has grown exponentially. And where do you think in the future where would you like to see the business go? Forget about the show for a minute. Carlo's Bakery is an entity in itself, and it's a brand, and it's a top-notch, high-end brand. Where would you like to see it go?
Well, I mean, I think that what we wanted to accomplish was it to be a household name. That was the biggest thing, I think. And I think
Check.
I think that was the biggest thing. Now with the vending machines, with the, now they're in the rest stops, on the Parkway. And I think that they're, wanted to get them out a few other places. And I think that's a great idea. And I think that that's happening soon. And I kind of feel like I'm kind of happy where everything is. I mean, of course, you would want it to, get bigger and more successful, but I'm just happy and I'm grateful that it's part of my family and part of my kids' legacy, and I just hope that it grows for generations for my kids and their kids and all the kids, for all my nieces and nephews and for all of them.
Did you ever step back and think that your family has become part of millions of families now?
No, I never envisioned it to be, like that.
Because, like I said, I mean, my family used to schedule their night around watching that show.
Yeah.
So you technically became your family became part of my family because we sat around and watched it.
No, I know. And I mean, I remember them saying, like, you're in 96 countries. Then they were like, you're in 172 countries.
It's humbling.
Like, it was just crazy. And it was just, it was just insane.
On a level that I'm having trouble understanding on level. And I'm going to put it into perspective for you. When we started our show, Mike came in as a guest on episode 9. That episode on audio got 333 downloads. And I was so humbled because here's how it went in my mind. 333 people took their time to listen to two idiots talk about pain and suffering or struggles that they had to go through. And it was an incredibly I remember talking to my wife about it, going, I am like blown away. I'm humbled by it. Where you, on a completely different scale, it's got to be humbling to you.
Oh my God, yeah. And it's more like and people used to come up to me. I don't know if they took it as like being more like conceited, but I was more like shy and like embarrassed about it. Like, I'm like, oh my God, because my brother makes these beautiful, amazing cakes. Like, they want to take a picture with me. Like, I didn't understand it. I was like, oh my God. Like, I was more embarrassed and shy about it. And I was like, if I'm out, like, I couldn't wrap my head around it. I'm like, okay, like, I felt like, like my brother was like Mickey Mouse and I was just like, like Goofy, or like, like he was the mouse, like you want the mouse, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't comprehend it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But now every time you go out, you have to have your hair done. Your makeup's got to be just right. You got to.
Well, yeah, like I used to drive my kids. It was so funny. Like, I would drive my kids to school in the morning and I would be like in my robe, like no makeup and whatever. And I'd see my friends and they would like tease me and I'm like, wait till pickup. I'd be like, wait till pickup. Like, like we would tease each other. But then there was like a certain point where it was like, but then like I kind of got over that. Like, like after the show, like, kind of like I would feel like, oh my God, like I couldn't go out unless like I was like totally put together or done up or whatever. But then like I was like, like I still didn't go out without makeup. But then I would like, because I was always self-conscious even before the show. Like, I felt like I always, like, had to look a certain way in the morning. Like, that was just always me. But then I kind of felt like I didn't have to do that because I didn't want my daughter to feel like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I did have a daughter and I didn't want her to think, like, you always had to look like a certain way. Because my daughter's definitely more plain than I am. So I was like, I didn't want her to feel like you had to like look a certain way.
Do your kids bust your chops about being famous?
Sometimes, yeah, they do. Like they'll tease me.
Like, Mom, you got to stop and give an autograph.
They'll be like, oh my God, like, are you Mary from Cake Boss? I'm like, shut up. I'm like, shut up. Like, they'll tease me. They'll say. So
there was Mike has been recognized. He did it in a pizzeria, and I want you to talk about that. But I did a show called Soft White Underbelly, and I'm in the gym. Guy comes up and says, "Hey, you're Kevin." I was like, "Yeah," and I thought maybe I coached one of his kids or something like that. And I'm with my son working out, and the guy's like, "No, I just saw you on Soft White Underbelly." And my son, to the guy's facing me, my son is behind him laughing at me. My 13-year-old is laughing at me. And I talked to the guy for a couple minutes, but I felt really uncomfortable, like very, very uncomfortable. And my son goes to me. He's like, "Dad, can we continue working out? Or are you done signing autographs?" I swear to God, it was so uncomfortable. Was it similar for you, Mike?
Yeah, it was more a proud moment for me because my father, I was out to dinner with my father and a couple of his friends. My father was one of the biggest fans of the show.
Yeah.
His father,
he loves it.
You would love his father.
He's old school Italian. We had him on the show one day, and he's funny. So we weren't even on video yet.
Nope.
And we're in a pizza place in Bayonne.
Uh-huh.
And we're sitting there, and I see this guy, and this guy keeps staring at me. And I'm like getting uncomfortable. I thought maybe I had snot running down my nose or something. So we get up to leave, and the guy, he goes, "Sir." So I go walking over. Now my father comes up right behind me. My father thinks the guy's going to fight me, The guy goes, "You're that guy from the podcast, aren't you?" My father's face just beamed. It was like, I'm like, "Yes, I am." He goes, "I love your podcast. You guys do such a good job." And it was just like a real proud moment for me,
Yeah.
What do you think your father would say if he saw where your family is now?
Oh, I think he'd be so proud. I think my dad would be so proud.
I just got chills.
I think he'd be so proud. I do.
I think he'd be more proud that you're all still together.
I definitely do.
Yeah.
I think he'd be so proud. I mean, our mom got to see it, and then again she was sick and she had dementia and stuff, but I mean she saw it. And she was on Cake Boss too. So she was, in the beginning.
She was part of the crew.
She was part of the crew. So she, she saw it.
I'm actually, your father is looking down, and he has got to be just beaming with pride, because we all, as parents, we all want our children to do well and succeed in whatever they do in life, whether it's a business that I am in or whether it's a business of their own choosing. And what greater success? That's the success story. Greenhorn comes in, starts a business, works their butt off so the kids can have a better life.
Yeah.
American dream.
Yeah.
Job done.
Mm-hmm.
Job done.
True.
So you've run the gambit of starting a new business to where it is today, to growing it, to managing the fame of being on TV, which again I think is you got to be careful what you wish for sometimes, because it's not all it's cracked up to be. If you saw somebody else coming up like you came up, like your family came up, what do you think one thing is that you learned from the struggles and the suffering that you went through?
You just got to be humble. You just got to stay, you can't let it get to your head. You got to just stay humble, and you got to just still stay true, and you got to just stay, be who you are. You can't let it get to your head. I
think stay true is the main thing. Be the person that you are.
I 100%
You're true to yourself, and
you're
you're true to your family.
Everyone said we remain the same people, that we,
It's a rare thing.
Nothing really changed.
Somebody walks down the street, "Mary, how are you?"
Hi.
How it costs? Mike Turner taught me that it costs $0 to be nice.
I always say hi.
Yeah.
And people would ask, even I don't know where I was. I was in Walmart. I think Walmart. I was with my friend from East Hanover. We were in Walmart. Okay. I got hacked. Someone had my credit card. They bought disco lights, and they were from Walmart.
We had disco lights in the studio, right? Was that you that hacked her?
Well, listen, we're not going to say anything. It may or may
but
not.
But they shipped them to my house. They
not only was he a criminal, but he was a stupid criminal.
I called my kids. I'm like, "Did you guys order disco lights for your dorm room?" They're like, "No." So I said, "All right, let me bring them back to Walmart." I brought the disco lights back to Walmart. So I'm in Walmart. So I'm in the middle of the aisle of Walmart, and a lady sees me, and I think I don't know if it was her brother or her son, drops a whole thing of Hawaiian punch, spills red Hawaiian punch everywhere in the aisle. So I look, and the lady was the manager was giving me a hard time about the disco lights. I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Someone hacked my credit card." I'm like, and meanwhile, my husband's fighting with me. He don't want to cancel my credit card because he has to change everything. I'm like, "Do you understand? Someone's got the credit card. Are you kidding me? I'm going to cancel it when I get home." So anyway, she's looking at me now. The manager's looking at me, and I'm like, "It wasn't me." There's red Hawaiian punch everywhere. So the lady's looking at me, and a lot of people recognize my voice. It's the voice. That's what they recognize. So she's like, "You're Mary." So I'm like, "Yeah." So she just comes up to me, and she was short, so her hair is just in my mouth. Literally, she comes and she's hugging me. So I'm just hugging her, and her hair is in my mouth. I don't say a word. She's hugging me like for maybe 10 minutes, literally 10 minutes. She has her son there. She's got the new Hawaiian punch. He's waiting for her. He's like telling me he's sorry. I'm like, it's okay. I didn't want to, because I think like she's like really like crying, telling me like how much she loves my brother. I felt like FaceTiming my brother. Like, I'm like, because I always do that to him. If I know someone really likes my brother, I FaceTime him. And then I'm like, I'll text him. I'm like, be nice. Like, I don't know if you're in a bad mood. I'm like, I'm FaceTiming you. But he normally is, but I'll give him a heads up. And then he's like, yeah, it's like, no problem. And he always will say hi. And her hair's in my mouth, and she was just like so happy. But like, I always hug him and whatever.
You just made their day.
I always try, to do like the right thing. And I was like,
But that's so important. It's I'm going to tell you why it's important. When you meet somebody who some people just have that wow moment. If you're a human being, you have bad days just like everybody else.
And I'm a little nervous, I have to say, about about the whole Jeremy thing, like after the whole lockdown, like, I am, but I didn't care. Like if someone wants to hug me.
Because if you're having a bad day and you allow that bad day to affect your interaction with them, they're going to walk away. Yeah, I met Mary from Cake Boss. What not a nice person.
Yeah.
And that's not what you want.
No.
Because that's not who you are. That was just that particular moment in time. And that happened to me with Mickey Mantle. I'm telling you right now, it happened to me with Mickey Mantle. I think he was drunk, but he was having a bad day. I was a 17-year-old kid. I was Mr. Mantle. You mind if my dad was a big fan. You mind if I get an autograph? He goes, get the F away from me, kid. I will never forget that, nor will I ever watch anything and be joyous of watching Mickey Mantle.
Yeah.
This is a guy, all he had to do is say, hey, kid, not now. I'm just sorry, I'm not now. But he didn't. He let his bad day overtake him. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the grace. Like, if there's one thing I can say about you, meeting you face to face, is you epitomize grace. You really do. You epitomize grace, the big smile. You disarm people with your smile. And I think that's why people gravitate towards you.
Thank you.
And you're embarrassed by when I said that because I could tell by your face.
If there's any proof that she still stayed humble, she shopped at Walmart.
Yeah,
I do. I can shop anywhere. I can go to Walmart. Then I'm like, oh, look at the pajamas. Look at this. Look at that. Like
Walmart is better than the movies.
I go. Like we were just like walking
Especially
around.
in Pennsylvania with all the clientele in there.
Go to a Walmart on a Saturday night. Take your husband. Have a date. It is the best experience of your life.
Okay, see? I was like, all right, we're going to Walmart.
You're going to Walmart and you're just watching people.
Then we went to the dollar store next door. I'm like, okay, this is great. I said.
I got one question before we end this, and it's related to the show. Who's a better singer, Frank Sinatra or Elvis Presley?
Oh.
Come on.
Oh, no.
Come on. Listen,
you're asking somebody from Hoboken. This is
why
not fair.
No,
that's why I asked.
I have to say, listen, I have to say I'm going to go with Elvis because
Yes.
You know why?
Yes.
Frank Sinatra turned his back on Hoboken
Thank
people.
you.
I'm a little upset. He turned his back on Hoboken.
So I heard that from Stuart Chiricella. I don't know if you know Stewie.
Turned his back on Hoboken. Well, I heard because the Hoboken people, supposedly what I heard, he got booed from Hoboken people, and he said that he would never admit or like do anything for Hoboken. So I don't know how true that is, but that's what I heard.
And I don't understand that. Well, Hoboken people are the most genuine people I've ever met in my life. That's the truth.
Obviously, except Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
So I have to go with Elvis because of that.
Oh, Mary, I liked you before, but now I'm starting to love you.
You know, because of that, he turned his back on Hoboken, Elvis. I mean, Frank Sinatra.
He's a better looking guy, too.
Did Elvis ever go to Hoboken?
I don't know.
Okay. So at least Frank Sinatra was there for a while.
I don't know.
Hoboken in the 50s.
Fight my case.
I don't know. Mary, where can our audience find you?
My Instagram is Cake Boss Mary, and I'm on TikTok. I think it's the same thing. It's Cake Boss Mary.
We will put links to everything.
Yeah, Cake Boss Mary.
And carlosbakery.com.
What?
I believe it's carlosbakery.com for the bakery itself.
Uh-huh.
And I see you brought a Carlo's Bakery bag.
Yes, I bought you some cannolis.
Oh.
I bought you some cannolis.
Look at this. No Italian ever comes empty-handed.
No,
You know?
and I bought you some rainbow cookies.
Oh,
And I bought you some cannolis.
So this is like so we can get the experience.
Yeah, you just snip it and then you just fill them.
We can get the experience of actually being in the bakery itself by making our own cannolis.
Yeah.
see that?
We're going to do an instructional
If you do
video.
a good job, you may get a job down there.
Mary, I can't thank you so much.
No problem.
It was an absolute pleasure meeting you.
And it was a
really
pleasure being here, guys, anytime.
Yeah, we like to have fun.
Yes.
So if you're ever in the Hoboken area, go down to Washington Street, visit Carlo's Bakery.
Yep.
Follow Mary Cake Boss. It's Cake Boss Mary.
Cake
Boss
Boss
Mary.
Cake Boss Mary. Wonderful cooking tips. I'm a
Yes.
huge fan of your Instagram and your cooking tips.
Thank you.
So check her out. And that's going to do it for this episode of the Suffering Podcast. As always, let's think about stuff that we learned. Sentiment is a beautiful thing. Family is everything. Opportunities always present themselves, but most importantly, be humble and be who you are. And that's going to do it for this episode. Don't forget to follow us on all social media. Go to popple.com, get yourself a nice digital business card, put in TSP20 for a 20% discount. Follow us on LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Follow Mike at Mike_Failace. Follow me at Real Kevin Donaldson. And of course, follow the Suffering Podcast. And we're going to see you on the next episode.